Hello and welcome. This is another episode of Fallout Equestria Reviews. I am Enclave, and I'm joined with Afterglow. So, yeah, it's it's that chapter. It's chapter 20. You all know what happens in chapter 20 and 20.5. So, let's talk about the good stuff first. And, well, my host is going to tell me, rather not tell me, but interrupt me when it goes to the scene. We all know that scene. So, chapter 20, Behind the Curtain. Quote, "Can I do something for you or to you?"
Isn't that 20.5?
I'm reading it off of fanfic.
I guess they use the same damn code. That's good.
Yeah. That's why I'm telling you. I was a little bit confused, but, like I said, don't be afraid to interrupt me when we get to that steamy part. So,
Lesbian mare sex.
oh boy.
Mare on mare action in 4K for only
Mare,
$20.
mare. All right. So, failure. I couldn't save Monterey Jack. I couldn't stop Steel Hooves from murking Chief Grimstar. I was letting down my friends and everyone who needed me. The realization of what I had been doing to those closest to me with my damn addiction cut deep. And as much as I wanted to rage at Velvet Remedy, it was my fault that Monterey Jack was murked. I murked him with a mint. Actually, I'd murked him with a whole lot of them. I had been eating them like, damn it, they actually tasted like candy. How fucking wrong is that? I was physically exhausted and mentally overwhelmed, on the verge of crying. So that's the first paragraph of the chapter. And this was a chapter that a lot actually happened. For once, not much filler. So I
Some would say too
appreciate that.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. I counted at least a good 3 to 4 big things that happen, but me and you do measure events differently. So this chapter immediately takes place after Chief Grimstar gets nom-nommed by all the ghouls. And these are the zombie ghouls, not the other ones that are still, all right and okay. We do see a image here that she's exploring the basement level of the 10 Pony Tower. And there's generators that are still, operating, that's keeping everything afloat. And she notices that there are some that are burnt out that have been pushed to the corner of the room. And there's something that she mentions that is very funny. She says that the room tastes like lightning. Lightning has a flavor? You know, I never thought so, but apparently there is. And she also makes note, and by she I mean little Pip, that there was a piece of like metal or some type of debris that landed on like an unfortunate pony years and years ago because the remains are now, skeleton. And she does the usual doomer posting of like, wow, I wonder if this mare or stallion had a family. I wonder what their name was. What were their final thoughts and this and that. And she mentions it, and I don't even know how she knows it, but these generators
I
operate like the defenses. So how does she know that?
don't even know what you're talking about, but I don't remember this whole scene, so I must have blacked out.
Yeah, no, I mean it's right there. It's the first like couple paragraphs. Like I'll even put it right here for you to look at.
Shows how fast they lost my attention.
Yeah. So so much is going on there. She gets intercepted by some guards and she starts freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god! Like, did they find out that me and Steel Hooves had a hoof at the the about Chief Grimstar and how he got nom nommed?" and she was freaking out the whole time as they were escorting her. And then they opened the door, and this is the part where I messed up from last recording. So
You're still messing up. They're not there yet.
yeah, they are. Look at the official fanfic.
The official fanfic is like there's another secret hidden illegal version out there.
Well, I mean, sometimes there's edited versions of it. Like I have a hard copy of Fallout Equestria that I got at BronyCon 2019, and I will tell you that it's written a bit differently. It's been edited, I don't even know how many times, but maybe the original Google Doc of it is still around. I'm not sure. Because I know the Filmfic, that one was edited. I don't know how many times, but I know it was edited. Um, the original Google Doc, I'm not sure if it's still floating around. I don't trust any links, so if you post it, oh, it's right here. I'm not clicking on it. But yeah, this
Or
is
doesn't just Google.
yeah, okay.
All
So
right, all right.
no,
Well,
but
I feel like we're missing something here because something with Steel Who's happens.
yeah, no. This is when she glances at him and the guard ponies are talking to Steel Hooves. And this is where the part, like I said, gets kind of mixed up here. So she's just waiting to get interrogated. She's relieved that she didn't get put in a cell, but they put her in another room, so she thinks she's gonna get questioned. And if you want to go ahead and say what Steel Hoops has a little speech, go ahead.
Well, I'm pretty sure this is on the radio. I don't know how that got recorded so fast, but anyway, that he says basically that he just gaslight gatekeep girl bosses and says that they were both in there trying to close in that Grimstar died to give him time to get out because they were trapped. And bro is using speech 100. That's about it, really. I mean, I guess people believe it.
Yeah. No, man has like speech 10, like charisma 10, speech 110, all this other stuff. And he's a good liar. He's a damn good liar, and it's really ironic. It's
Well,
really
he's had
ironic.
a long time to practice.
Oh yeah. Well, I say it's ironic because we both know later on who he once knew and spent time with.
And
So,
fucked.
oh yeah, lots
And
of that.
boned.
Plenty of that. Steamy
And we really
mare.
blame him.
No, I don't.
Exactly.
So,
Well, yeah, and all this funny shit happens.
yeah, no, this is the part where I got mixed up from the last chapter. That's why I apologize. So this is where the stallion who's in charge of like all of the notaries and all of like the logistics stuff and the law stuff and legalese. I hate freaking lawyers. I've always said that. I hate them, and I guess he's one of them. So even little Pip is like blanking out as he's explaining everything, and oh yeah, these caps are going here and these caps are going there. You can't own any property here in Ten Pony because uh you know
No citizenship.
yeah, no citizenship. And it's funny because it shows that like, oh yeah, it's gonna take years and years to get it, but if you are willing to give a bit of a payment, we'll expedite it, and it'll be about under a year or so.
I'm
Um,
sorry, Pip. We don't give credit.
Come back and you have a little bit more caps. So that's basically all that. And it's hilarious because he charges her for everything, including the rope that they hung Monterey Jack on. That was messed up. Not like they're
That's
gonna.
it's based capitalism. Capitalism is truly the villain of the wasteland.
No, I think even I know some governments out there that are extremely very funny. They charge the family stuff that they used on the executed. So whether it be bullets or the lethal injection or even just the electric bill. So it's pretty interesting.
The electric bill.
Yeah, some places still
No,
use
for like the whole month of the one day they used it.
yeah, no, I wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, that pretty much happens, and all that's going on. Then she has like a bit of a moral conundrum that doesn't get brought up for a while about Monterey Jack's kids. Um, so that was pretty funny because like it makes it seem like this huge thing is going on and this and that, but it just gets mentioned now and it doesn't get brought up for a while, if not at all. Um, so that happens, and from there, she's having this again mental breakdown because all this is going on. Steel Hooves is like lying on the air, and everyone's buying it. Obviously shows, like you said, practice. He's blaming. He's saying that the story how it goes is that Chief Grimstar sacrificed himself, and the only reason why he got away was because of his armor. And we both know that's not what happened. And yeah, she was just like, wow, that's impressive that he's just straight up lying to everybody, and it's working. From there, she's still getting frustrated because of the whole like Monterey Jack situation and her
You realize that
addiction.
Monterey played him like a damn fiddle?
Oh yeah,
Or
played her like a damn fiddle.
Deville really killed himself just to be spiteful? Absolutely wild.
Yeah, yeah. I That's the one
This is the
thing.
main point of why I don't like this character, so it's kind of important.
Yeah, but why would he do that though? Just
He
literally out of
literally
spite.
orphaned his children just to get back at someone.
Yeah, that he barely knew.
Oh, why? That crazy.
Yeah, like,
So I don't know if his whole like talk about honesty and virtue was supposed to be bullshit or what. It's not really clear.
well, it does put some stuff into perspective that happens later on that I have like a bit of a crackpot theory about, but yeah, like I still don't fully grasp like what the map was for this, like the pathway. Why did he do that? Because I mean, yeah, you could say out of spite or this or that, and but like I said before, I feel like he would have, I feel like he was gonna be something more important, but he just got, pushed to the side. All the while this is
I don't know why
happening.
you assume this guy would be so important, but I can't wait to hear that theory when we get there.
Well, yeah, we'll get there in a little bit. So yeah, she's having this like mental breakdown and not very good at holding it in, and she starts, running amok in her room, throwing pillows and sheets and other miscellaneous things around.
Has
And
a bit
she,
of little baby rage,
yeah, little baby man, little baby Pip.
little
So
baby mare.
so she's all freaking out, yelling and this and that, which is kind of funny because I could just imagine like the neighbor just like hearing muffled screams of little Pip, just like having like a rage moment. Um, and she finally sees him, the mentats, the mentals, or whatever the hell you want to call them,
Mentals.
mentals. So
Mint.
mint tolls. So she finally
I don't know
sees
why
them.
they couldn't just use the cams names from the games either.
Hmm.
Like Psycho was just Rage. Was that really an improvement? Do we need to change it?
Yeah. So she sees it and she just starts blaming it for that and goes on to start flushing him down, blaming
I, for one, have
herself.
no sympathy because you cannot blame drugs for your shitty actions.
Yeah, not wrong.
So
It's
fuck it. Good.
yeah.
Keep sneezing.
Yeah, no, I don't excuse me. I don't fully understand nor grasp people that like try to blame stuff like that because it's your choice to take this stuff. Unless you were born from a mother who was taking, you know, stuff and now it's in your system, then yeah, you have my sympathies and this and that. She also didn't know what they were like fully because, Calamity just gave them to her. And, you know, pre-war, this stuff was around pre-war. I know in some of the other Fallout games, it's interesting when you find certain chems and stuff in locations that just wouldn't make any sense at all because it was is either one, it wasn't around in the pre-war, or two, this stuff was invented in other locations in which how the hell did it get all the way over there? So yeah, I appreciate the fact that this stuff she didn't have any prior experience into it, so she just went in blind, and unfortunately, those chems just got the best of her. Um, but yeah, I see those things in a different way. Either from seeing it from like professional like perspective, having to deal with
I don't
people
know,
that are
man.
ODing and stuff. Um, I mean,
Surely they
yeah,
had like MedX in the stable, wherever the fuck the chem version of Fall Equestria is, MedX is.
yeah, because it
So
gets
should at least have a basic concept of what a chem is.
well. I
But who
mean,
knows?
yeah, we can only assume that she knows that oh, drugs are bad. Maybe I shouldn't use them. Because as far as I know, these Mentats aren't they like basically like Adderall, just a couple leagues above it.
I
It's
mean, every chem in Fall is supposed to be a real world drug. I don't remember. That's what
hmm
I'm been told. Mentats. I can't even remember the real name anymore. I'm losing it.
yeah. You might have to pop one so you can focus.
I don't know, man.
Because this one, as mentioned before, like it's just known to increase perception, intelligence, and it like legitimately clears your mind. So, um, yeah. What was I gonna say? The part where she starts blaming herself and everything for that. She's obviously having withdrawals and she's blaming herself and she goes ahead and just starts flushing them. And every time she flushes something, she's blaming herself for these things and this and that. So, uh,
Cute to the funny animation where she's trying to drink, get the prompt to drink. No,
oh,
not that. It's it.
oh
But
no. She's trying to find the mentats and she accidentally drinks it.
she misses the prompt and drinks the toilet water.
hmm Yeah. Like and this is the part where where it happens, this is the part where it happens. So it's like it was too much, the shame, my addiction, the pain of how I had hurt my friends, the betrayal of Velvet Remedy's action, and now Monterey Jack's forehoof blanking me from beyond the grave. That's an interesting way to put it. She goes and says, like, I started at the piles of tins frozen in place. It took me only a moment to transfer all my rage and sorrow onto the drugs. Before I knew it, I was in the bathroom, dumping tin into the toilet water, cursing them and myself for everything we had done to my life together. Flush. There went a month's worth. Flush. There went dozens more. I was throwing away countless bottle caps worth of them, and good riddance. They would never have the chance to hurt any pony else. Flush. There went what I allowed myself to become dependent on. Flush. What I had let come between me and the ponies who were closer to me than any family had ever been. I was crying so hard I can barely see what I was doing, but I didn't need to. Flush, flush, flush.
Yeah, imagine those neighbors first year smacking shit against the wall and just nonstop flushing in the toilet after.
Yeah, yeah. And that's pretty much like what leads to this next moment. Two big moments. One, she gets interrupted by Velvet Remedy. She has the last tin of mentals, and she's obviously been crying. She's going through a lot. She's just blaming herself for everything. And Velvet Remedy actually does something pretty good here. She embraces little Pip. She's wearing a dress. I don't know why she's wearing a dress, but it is what it is. Little Pip is hesitant at first because she's like, I don't want to dirty it, but like Velvet Remedy doesn't care. Like she just holds her and embraces her and lets little Pip like just have a good long cry. All the while that tin of mentats.
What are you talking about? Velvet Remedy? I thought Ahmed shows up.
No, this is afterwards. This is afterwards.
Well, why are we not talking about
This
homage?
is the next part. This is the next big part. This is the number two out of the four that I got. So
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm pretty sure Ahmed shows up there, but I don't really
no,
care.
it's-
Where the fuck is Velvet, bro? I'm reading it right now.
that's what it said on the audiobook. So that must have been an error on his part. Hmm. Interesting. All right. Scratch that. Error on his part, I guess. So,
Oh, bro, can't read. So true.
yeah, I mean, I can barely read too. Haha. So yeah, this is we'll replace that. Yeah, Homage is the one and yeah, she's basically there, does the exact same thing, right? She goes ahead and embraces her and she starts crying and this and that.
And why
And
does Ahmed just walk into my room? Man, that's not right. Get out of here.
yeah, like I don't know how
She's
she.
what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?
Yeah, she just goes in there and stuff like that, and like, so yeah, um, this is the part that gets me, right? So they've known each other for, you would say, maybe like a week's time, maybe
I
at this
wouldn't even
point.
say that. It's only been like 3 days, bro.
Yeah. So
I
we'll
mean, for most of it, she was out killing shit, so they weren't really talking.
yeah. So it's been like under a week. The heck was that?
No, nothing. Ignore it. Bullshit is
Okay,
what it is.
whatever. So
People calling me while I'm trying to record. I'm gonna throw this phone.
get out of my room! I'm talking about Fallout Equestria and Little Pip. We're about to have hot, steamy mare moments right now. Um. Anyways,
Fuck in my room. I'm trying to jerk off in chapter 20.5.
yeah. So this is the part where they embrace each other and this and that, and this is where I have a bit of a conflict here, right? Maybe how old again? Allegedly, K Cat was writing this. Like they were a teenager, probably.
I don't know, man. I don't know who the fuck how old they are now.
Well, I only say this because, again, this is just my experience, right? And you can call it toxic masculinity or whatever. I don't care. Um, I would never recommend crying in front of your significant other because, again, just me, but the few times that I did, they use that as ammo against me. Especially when it's in this like kind of weird like event thing.
Wait, bro. I know this is very off topic and out of left field, but
Yeah.
holy shit, bro. As of right now, K Cat is writing a Hazbin Hotel fan fiction. It's on there.
We gotta stop the presses. Wait, hold on. Wait. How do you know this? How do you
Because
know this?
I went to their fanfic to see if I could find out if I had like a birthday or anything, and the first post I saw was a link to this.
Oh
Oh no, bro!
no.
It's so over. We
What? What is this?
I'm pretty sure it's Pony. Pony has been hotel.
Why is it Wait, why is it through this? What is this? What is this website? This looks awful.
It's like an old fanfic writing like fanfic.net. It's been around for a long while, I think.
Oh my god, you're right.
It's posted. It was first posted on June 8th, 2024. So I'm sure it's still being written.
No, K-Cat, what are you doing? No!
Oh, I'm gonna check the comments on this.
Well, yeah, you can look at that. This is a side note of a side note, folks. This is breaking news, okay? We're sorry. We're sorry that this is
I
a
can't
bit...
even open the comments on this shitty website. God damn it.
We're sorry, folks. This is a bit of unorthodox, but this is some big news. Oh, wow. This is interesting. This is not even pony related, my guy. Okay, this is a side note, all right? This is a side note.
I could not let this rest.
Yeah, we'll go back to our regular scheduled programming as soon as we get a little bit of understanding what's going on here. So we will include a link in the description to this, but this is called Charlie's Angels Aftershocks by K-Cat, and their profile says K-Cat in parentheses FOE. It's 11 chapters, 1,227 words.
Also, it's a sequel, so it's not even the first one.
Yeah. And apparently, oh, wow. There's a lot of comments there, but we can't read them. You're right.
Oh, no, you have to accept cookies first. I figured it out.
Oh, heck no. So, yeah, it seems like a has-been hotel thing. Oh, my God. Polygamy.
Oh, my God, bro. The first one is 90,000 words. It's almost as long as Fallout Equestria.
No way. No way. This has to be its own topic now, dude. We can't just diverge so much.
And I just wanted our audience to be aware of the fact that this exists. You can feel free. You better put this in the description so they can go read it on their own.
Okay, wait a minute. You're telling me that K-Cat was able to make an entire different fanfic before Somber was able to update their damn second part to
Hey,
Project
wait,
Horizons.
hey! At least Sombras are writing shitty fucking furry fanfics.
Well, we don't know that.
I mean, he could be doing it under a pseudonym, but I don't know.
Oh my gosh. This is awful. Oh my. Okay, well, let's get out of here.
Her
This,
writing style has not improved in a decade.
are you
I'm
serious?
I'm skimming through it. It's written exactly like Fodder Equestria. I think it might even be worse.
Oh my
Well,
lord.
this will have to be a bonus episode at some point.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Sorry, folks, if there was any interruption to your relaxation of the recording. We'll go back to the other side topic that we were talking about when it comes to Homage and Little Pip. Little Pip's having a moment in which she starts to cry while embracing Homage. And again, they've only known each other for like maybe less than a week. I'll say 4 to 5 days tops. And even out of those 4 to 5 days tops, they probably only hung out with each other for a few hours. So, like I was saying earlier, I find it hard to believe. Like maybe yes, in the context of the wasteland, as I mentioned before in previous episodes, it's very hard to find people that you trust. People, my bad. Individuals that you can trust, and sure, maybe a little bit more love bomby stuff happens because you don't know if you're gonna see this individual again. So maybe people are a bit more inclined, let's say, in hooking up or starting a relationship rather quickly or this or that. Unless you're like like most Fallout stories happen, whether it's Fallout Equestria or even just like side stories, those that have been traveling for quite a long time, they get to liking each other and this and that. But I just find it very hard to believe that Homage and Little Pip are at this level. So this is the one part where I was saying where we often talk about if we were to like rewrite this stuff. I would definitely have your protagonist, if they have a love interest or a friend or anything like that, have it more natural, They're probably gonna like chat a little bit the first couple times they've known each other. If you want to go with an enemies to lover trope, go for it. Maybe they were complete strangers for the first couple times, but as time has gone on, they start spending more time together and this and that. But this is a big jump. This is a really big jump, and that's why when we're talking about it in other episodes and stuff like that, obviously this person's a very young writer, um, very idealistic because this just doesn't happen in real life. Um, this would be considered for some people like trauma dumping, you know. Yeah, maybe a little bit different because she's having issues with chems and stuff like that, but she starts trauma dumping and again trauma bonding and oh boy, I'm gonna tell you that again as a side note, going back to the original side note before we got derailed by the has been hotel fanfic. Um, as somebody who's been in only one relationship, um, and it ended. I know it ended right as I started to like have hard moments in my life, and I just couldn't hold it in anymore. Uh, they made sure that it was used as ammunition against me. So I was like, oh, okay, damn. So just be careful out there because there are some people like that. And I'm not saying everyone's like that, but there are quite a few people that are like that. So you just got to be careful. Not going to always find a ride or die type of individual, like let's say Little Pip or Homage or, even Steel Hooves. But we'll get into some more scenarios once we get into that moment. So, yes, she starts to cry, starts to break down, calms her down, everything's all good. And eventually they start talking about stuff, going more into Homage's past and who what's her name again?
Oh,
Homage's old flame.
blue joke
Blue
blue.
blue joke. And she asks her why they named her that, and it's because one of her hind legs oh yeah, one of her hind legs was a bit like messed up. So yeah, she was really good at traps and firearms. Basically,
Oh,
like
I
a
had the
lot of
trap skill maxed out.
yeah. Basically, was like a wastelander, that was really good at adapting to stuff in this and that. A lot more towards like the combat and like technical stuff, but Homage was better at lock picking, hacking terminals, and other non-combat related skills, and she mentions it too, like cooking, other tech stuff, science stuff, all that good stuff. So they really were complements of each other, and it would have been interesting had Little Pip's relationship with Homage would have been like that. Of course, we would have to rewrite a lot of these things, or just maybe create a different character, because DJ Pond 3 is loosely based off of Three Dog from Fallout 3. So again, you would have to do a little bit of other things. But
I
going
wish I
back,
could kill her. I'm like 3 dog.
I didn't do that on any of my run throughs. Never did. But
That's crazy. Three
yeah.
dog simp.
I mean, I like it. I like his energy. Could be annoying at a couple times, but overall it's not that bad.
Little bro thinks he's Mr. New Vegas.
No, definitely not in Mr. New Vegas. I mean, it's a fairly new concept with the radio host, because in the first original Fallout 1 and 2, like it just didn't exist. But I mean, mechanically, it just wouldn't make any sense. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So, like I said before, in terms of writing relationships and this and that, take the take the woman route and have it as a slow burn. You never want to rush into things. Those that rush into things, uh, mm, how do I say this without offending anybody? Uh, Impulsive people that do impulsive decisions will screw you over. Let's just say that.
This
So,
guy gets no bitches and no mares. Don't take his leadership advice.
yeah, but how many 27-year-olds that actually live in their own house that they own and have a car and a motorcycle and other things?
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not living with mommy like other 27-year-olds that I
that
know,
has
and
nothing to do with getting bitches.
I don't want any. I think I've gotten
The
to
oldest
that
couple in the
point.
book.
No, it's not a cope. I don't want to deal with it. I just want my peace. I just want my QT mares and other things that I enjoy. Video games, Warhammer, this, and that. I don't need to be dealing with this extra crap. Anyways, this isn't a blog post. I don't know why I'm being like this all of a sudden. So, is this the part? Is this the steamy part, or we're not there yet?
Yes, they get in the bed, and now I get to take over.
Oh God! Don't ever say that like that.
Okay. Anyway, chapter 20.5, a mare worth fighting for. Debatable. But anyway. Yeah. Yeah. How did they make lesbian mare sexist unappealing? It's impressive. But yeah, the Ahmed starts massaging Pip with her rock hard hooves. Anyone who thinks that hooves are marshmallows are coping. They are bone, and a massage from a mare would be agony. But like immediately, no one, it just goes right in there, right in the mare pussy. Are we gonna talk shit on Ahmed some more?
I mean, she
About
does
just like speed running it with no warning.
I don't know, because again, as all those already know, I don't really have much in that experience department, but they definitely do some trauma bonding, and like I said, very it's very hard to break trauma bonds. And the thing is, they were talking about their stuff, right? Whether if it was Blue Joke, Poison Joke, whatever her freaking name was, and then Little Pip going over her addictions and things of that nature, and all the while they're talking and this and that. Like, it's hilarious how it's written, right? They're just kind of minding their own business, and as like Amish just kind of guides Little Pip to the bed, thus starting the massaging, which for some people that could be seen as foreplay. Um, and from there, as you said before, I find it very hard to believe that felt any good. She's a unicorn. She could have just used her magic, if anything, instead of like the hooves. But let's get to the point where, yeah, she's just minding her own business, and all of a sudden, even Little Pip's like, "Oh, hello." So, um, do they go into detail about what happens? She just kind of
I mean, there's a little bit of detail, but
she gets cunnilingus. And
Yeah, Pip gets sex anxiety. Love to
yeah,
see it.
which I mean, I made a comment off the record, but I'm gonna say it again. I'm probably gonna piss a lot of people off, but I mean that's kind of my job here. Um Oh wow. It's an inside joke and I've said it before, like how do you have anxiety from that if you're just going to be a dead fish? Like I've just never heard of that. I've heard of dudes getting made fun of because oh they couldn't get it up or like they're nervous or this or that, but it's just like a girl, she just lays there, you know? And little Pip is just laying there. Like Homage is literally doing all the work. This is why I'm also kind of weirded out by Homage. I get it. Asking for permission is like, ugh, don't do that, da, da, da. But like, does little Pip even express that she's not fully comfortable with it?
Not really.
Yeah, 'cause she kind of just lets it happen, right?
I mean, Ahmed just goes like, "Hey, you good over there?" And Pip just goes, "Yep."
Yeah, just staring at the wall. Yeah, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, everything's fine.
But anyway, they fuck like crazy, and Pip is apparently a 1 minute wonder, which is classic. We know more about how fast the main character comes and what she actually looks like. Just so
True,
you know,
true. And I'm gonna,
very important. I mean, it's not the same writer, but still.
yeah,
Wait, we should be crediting who wrote this. What was their name again?
I have not a clue because I listened to it. I didn't read it.
However the fuck you say that, posse, pussy.
So, side note, is this considered canon or because you
As far if I remember correctly, K Cat said it's canon if you want it to be,
but
which is like the cop out answer, but still.
but it's implied that they did stuff because afterwards, right, when we get to back to K-Cat, they kind of have like a little back and forth like, "Oh, did you enjoy it? Did you like it?" type of thing. And and and
got to Pip furiously masturbating by herself, lighting up a cigarette. Did you enjoy it too?
yeah, it's just weird to me. And again, like I kind of find it just a tad bit predatory what Homage did. Because again, Homage is a bit older than Little Pip. Homage isn't as naive as Little Pip. And she kind of just let her, like, if you kind of think about it, right? Going back to what I was saying earlier, she literally led her on to the point where they're on the bed. It just, Little Pip is like trying to talk about her problem, this and that. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, just fine.
Oh yeah,
Just,
we get to that funny part where in the middle of like eating her pussy out, it just starts like interrogating her about multiple things, which is very strange.
yeah.
She
Well,
asked about her feelings with Velvet,
oh, yeah.
just classic.
Mm, that's just
I don't know about that, Chief. That's be weird. Like if I was fucking someone and they was like, "Hey, do you think your friend is hot?" In the middle of, I'm like, "Huh?"
okay. I'm not gonna say I haven't heard of it because some of my friends that I've talked about their adventures, I'll just say that they ask those weird questions to people like, "Oh, who is this person to you?" as they're doing the deed. And I don't know if it's like a weird psychological thing. Again, I'm not a psychiatrist or, a sexo expert at all by any means, but some people do that. They ask like, "Oh, who's this? Oh, who's that?" Or like, "Oh, does, you know, who's the what is it? Oh my god, I'm like getting all weirded out already by thinking about it because I've heard these like stories people tell me.
I've never had that happen to me. I would instantly not be turned off like so fast if someone just started doing it.
No, I've never done it, but like I said, I've people told me stories, and I'm just kind of forced to listen to them because if when you're working in a job like I do, there's nowhere for you to go. And I'm just kind of like, wow, cool, that's so awesome, that's so.
You're talking about Pit being not think stuff about being uncomfortable, but it sounds like you're doing it too, Chief.
I don't really do it at all. No, I don't talk about you. You know me. I don't talk about my adventures.
No, I'm saying if someone's doing it to you and you don't speak up and tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not victim blame here. I mean, little Pip. I was pretty.
Victim boy.
Hey, let's.
Wait, is there a victim now?
Well, like I said, I find it predatory. I find it hella predatory that Homage did that. I'm not gonna let that down. Like
Yeah.
if we're gonna take this part like seriously, I do think Homage is a bit predatory for doing that. And then asking like questions like that too, it's like I said, kind of weird. It could be seen as foreplay for some people, but others, I don't know. It's just again, I'm not a psychiatrist nor a sexo experto, so I don't know. But that's pretty much it. It goes from that. Funny line though. Little Pip's like, oh, like what's between us? Like what is this? And like Amos just answers like, oh well, besides our sweat, like, I'm just like, excuse me? like when I heard that part, I had to like look at it. I'm like, who says that? Who says that?
Homage.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't
I
want.
hate homage.
I thought you liked her.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I gaslighted myself like many Fall Equestria viewers do, where I thought Ahmed was better in my memory, and now she is not.
Well, better as like a character or better because like.
Yeah, like a better character and not like kind of a piece of shit.
Hmm.
At least Steelhooves is still living up to my memory, so I got that.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, Homage was cool until that happened, but she just like rushed it. And again, like I guess she's probably a little star. What is it? What's the word? Where like you really look up to celebrities, stargaze. I don't know.
Starstruck.
Starstruck. There you go. She's probably a little starstruck of like Little Pip, but then Little Pip's this like naive, stable dweller. And like, oh, I don't know anything about this, and oh no, I like mares and this and that. Like, does Homage even? She probably knew. She probably led her on. I don't know. This topic hits really close to home about that kind of stuff of being like led on and stuff. Like not personally to me, but just hearing other people like experiences, and I just don't like it. But yeah,
Yeah, so anyway, the
yeah,
interrogation continues with
hmm
her asking, like, oh, why were you into me? And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I thought I was horny. Good answer, Pip. That speech 100.
Yeah. Well, it just further like goes to the point where like she's just not experienced at all, and this would have been, had it just been a thing, this maybe little Pip would have like seen this as a different experience if this story would have been a little bit longer and those feelings would have developed into something else. It would have been an interesting thing if these feelings were actually real, or was it truly just the heat of the moment infatuation type of thing. And she was, as we said in the previous chapters, she's desperate. She doesn't have anybody. Valor,
Oh
Remedy,
yeah,
and Calamity are a
do you
thing.
remember the line where Homage is like, "Oh, I knew you were into mayors because I kept getting reports that you were staring at the ass of every mayor
That's
around you."
crazy.
That's what makes this fit canon to me. I see it.
But yeah, moving on from this, the
You gotta find.
uncomfortable. Yeah, well, this is the uncomfortable topic. So she talks about the black opal, and Homage is just like, how do you know about that? You know, how do you know about that? And
I don't
even
think that comes out till after this, bro.
no, yeah,
He
so
doesn't even.
that's what I'm saying. Moving on to the uncomfortable stuff because this is the part where they let the afterglow's done and they're just kind of talking.
No, they are still mid coitus. I assure you, bro. We're not anywhere near there yet.
I said moving on. What you want to
Well,
go back?
yeah, chapter 20.5 is all sex. We barely talked.
Oh my god. Well,
Yeah,
you talk about it
we
then.
have to give the facts, and I.
The facts of the matter.
Yeah, well, the truth of the matter, even.
Hmm.
But I mean, YouTube's gonna hate this chapter. Good luck, bud.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, this weird thing happens where, like, after the interrogation, oh, well, first off, I have a question. How the fuck would one get lubricant in the apocalypse? Who's making that?
Uh. Uh. Next question.
I mean, I had to talk about a different kind of plot hole.
Hmm. I'm sure a lot of things are still being somewhat produced.
All right, but you think raiders are be out here being generous using lube?
Uh. They'll use the tears. They'll use the tears.
Oh, that's crazy. That's fucked up. That
Hey, they're raiders, dude.
is,
That's why I personally always murk them on site. I'm not like Velvet Remedy. Oh, we should have deployed. No, no, they're awful, awful, awful ponies or people. Like, no, I'm not giving any mercy to any of them unless they just started and they didn't do any crazy atrocities. But most of the time, like veteran raiders that have been out there for a while, they've done a bunch of crap. So that's why I murk
all
them
right.
on
Well,
site.
anyway, she pulls out the. I don't know what the technical term is for a double-sided dildo is, but that's what it is.
Ah,
We're so cooked. We're getting demonetized instantly. Let's go. Oh man, you're 5 cents, bro. What are you gonna do without it?
oh, they.
But yeah, and I don't know what happens here because like I guess Pip has like a phobia of dicks. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's a thing, but it might be. People have phobia of water, and you need that to survive. So who knows?
Well, and and again, this is
Again, I know what you're gonna say. It's Pip is very clearly uncomfortable and just absolutely does not want to use that, and how much pressures are into it, which is great.
well, that and then what's it called? There's an implication of that, right? Because when we get a phobia, that means something that happened, because of it or whatever. There was clearly an action with that set item, person, thing, or event. So the fact that she has a phobia of the male genitalia just opens a very gross can of worms that
And how would I mean? There's only like one situation where I think that could happen, and I don't think that would be happening in a stable.
dude, you'd be surprised.
All right, but it's never gonna be told that that happened.
Well, for all we know, she got.
Again, we're doing headcanon at this point.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying though, it's already implied. So something obviously went down. Because, like I said, most phobias, again, to my understanding, the reason why you're scared of it is because there was a traumatic event that's tied with it. So,
I mean, yeah, we can accept this headcanon. I don't really care. I can still fix her.
I mean, yeah, I feel bad for her.
Oh yeah, this chapter is very uncomfortable. I don't know if people like actually are getting off to this chapter, but like weird.
Yeah, well, because if we're taking it seriously, again, like Homage is being pushy. Little Pip is not saying anything. So again, the implication of her not speaking up, even though these actions are happening to her, are you seeing what I'm trying to say?
All right, but I know what happened to Blackjack.
Well, yeah, well, we all know what happened to Blackjack. There's a reason why she keeps mentally telling everybody, yep, I'm putting it in the closet. Yep, I'm putting a bookshelf in front of it. And I'm just like, oh boy, I can only assume what it is because I'm not there yet. And I don't even want to think I want to get there.
It's really not that bad, but it was literally edited down to be less words. What a
Oh,
pussy.
well,
But yeah, then after they finished doing the
the deed.
sideways nasty,
Yeah,
mashing pissers.
bumping tacos.
So yeah, after that, the greatest pillow talk ever of Homage dropping just this doomer bombshell about how every good pony she's reported on is either ended up dead or just given up and wasting away somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice. Thanks, Homage.
And
But
that's
and then for some reason we get this like really extended scene of like Pip going schizo and imagining herself as Ditzy when she lost her tongue. Which yikes.
well, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm gonna go that route of like something extremely traumatic happened to Lil Pip and why she what is it? Individuals that suffered from that, again, this is just me, armchair psychiatrist. They tend to overdo it on the whole, you know, going overboard when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like they like to be extremely flirtatious or, they're always ogling in this and that because obviously something happened. It just doesn't happen, and you want to throw in the fact again she doesn't fight back. She doesn't say this or that, and then she's scared of that. It's just, oh boy. So that I feel bad. Like I said, I feel bad for her. Um, it's kind of
But
a joke. It's a joke chapter, but if you think about it, it's really messed up. But
jeez. So
yeah, sorry,
anyway,
I didn't mean to go down that route, but I'm being respectful to like the possibility that that happened. Maybe they
I
weren't
don't even
thinking
know if
about
that was
that.
the author's intent, but yeah,
I
sure.
I mean, again, this is just from my perspective based off of the things that I've been exposed to, whether stuff that happened to myself or others, and I'm just like, holy crap. Like,
Well, I personally don't think the author's intent matters, so who cares?
okay. Well, it's not,
Yeah.
it's canon or not canon, just depends on what you think.
Oh, that's canon.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then after she thinks about Ditzy, she remembers that she thinks about how Ditzy is still good Tony even after all that. She
Yep.
uses that to argue back against Homage point.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends with the quote, "I am so gay." And then she gets some fucking fruit eating perk instead of what I can't speak French, but you know the perk where you're a female courier and you can do extra damage to girls and be gay.
Yeah, yeah,
It should have been that one. I'm just saying. Like
yeah.
this was written in 2013. New Vegas was well out at this point. I don't know what the author was cooking.
Nope. They haven't played Fallout New Vegas yet, because we'll know when they play Fallout New Vegas, because certain things get
Well, this
dropped.
isn't KCAT. I'm talking about the author specifically 20.5.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, we had one of our lawyer viewers crackpot theory that this was just KCAT's alt, but I don't know about that.
Maybe. Could be. Who knows?
I mean, it's written bad on pars for Equestria, so either someone really liked Fallout Equestria and knew how it's written, or it's just KCAT, but
Could be.
who knows?
Could be.
But yeah, 3 out of 10. When I want a sexo chapter, I want it to be hot, not uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't. Due to the heaviness of the implications, as well as just, I'm more of a. I'm more of a hint rather than just show it all. You know, because again, if these characters have spent time building a relationship, you're rooting for them, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they finally get to that point, you're just like, yes, finally, finally they can be like with someone in the most like intimate of ways of like soul bonding and this and that. But the fact that it's rushed, the fact that the characters only known each other for, again, let's just say less than a week, it's just weird. It's really weird. So,
What's the rating?
I'm gonna give it a strong 3 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
and correct that anime account. Just because you're a different author doesn't mean you get away with it. She says head over heels, which you could say it's a bit of a not really one, but I don't know. You could have said head over hooves.
probably, but
Or wherever
that's
the fuck that back of the hoof is called.
not a clue. I'm not a veterinarian.
But yes, I forget which chapter it is, but Project Horizons also has a .5 chapter, and it's much better because it's actually just wholesome.
Oh boy, I can't wait to get to that part in a year.
You actually have to find out which chapter it's written for too, like 40 something, I think.
Great. Well, that's pretty much it for chapter 20.5, and then we're gonna go on back to chapter 20. So I know it's been a bit of a roller
All right,
coaster.
into the cringe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen, but we're almost done. Don't worry, we're almost done. Um,
Not according to my notes, Chief.
well, for me, because I only have 3 big things to report on. So after the sexo scene, like I said, they talk about the black opal, and she's like, "How do you know about that?" And again, little Pip being little Pip, not wanting to lie to her one and only, and possibly only male friend that she'll ever have. At least that's the way she thinks about it. She's like, "Oh, somebody told me about it." So it's also kind of weird how like Watcher knows that there's stuff in there. Um, I don't know how he would know. I mean,
I don't know how DJ Pone 3 wouldn't know about Watcher.
yeah. So that happens, right? um, and then she said, "Yeah, I'm willing to give it to you, but you're gonna have to do something for me." And of course, little Pip at first like, "Oh, I know what I can do. And she's like, no, 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 dumbass. Like, I actually want like
Bonk her with the horny stick.
yeah, bunk. She's like, no, 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 no. Like, I need you to actually. And then finally, after I would say 18 plus chapters, Red Eye gets mentioned. So
Whoa, red eye.
yeah,
I
remember
remember
that?
that guy.
Yeah, remember that guy from chapter like 2? Yeah, finally. So she goes ahead and tells little Pip like, yeah, I want you to go like scout, and I need you to go like repair stuff and this and that, because you know how it was talked about before, she has eyes and ears in certain locations but that place. So she's gonna send her to there um to go and fix some stuff, and that's kind of scummy for Homage, I think.
But we and let's all right. So if we assume that Homage was just a seducing Pip and stringing her along the whole time, that her whole time the goal was just to get her to do this.
I would have a I would say like, yeah, it's a strong implication.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, and it was so quick because she would hesitate if she actually really cared for little Pip. I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
like shit's like the day after they smash him, she's
Mhm.
immediately asking for favors. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. So that happens. And again, I'm
I
just
hope you
kind of
paid closer attention
to what?
because this part about the stars, because it's actually like super important lore.
Mhm. Go ahead and explain it.
Oh yeah. First though, she gets the punk figurine. I believe the only one she's missing is Dash and Twilight, or does she have Twilight?
She has Twilight because she found it on Pinky's body.
Or she doesn't have Dash. I don't miss who. I don't know who the other one is.
Fluttershy? Yeah. The main six that never talks? Yeah, 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 her.
All right, but yeah, she gets the pinky one. Awareness. It was under E. And I know you don't like that. It doesn't match. So I don't know what your beef is with that.
Mm,
Because even the story says it's Pinkie Pie. Of course, it doesn't match the rest.
yep.
And I accept that response. That answer.
Hmm.
Maybe conceding on you not liking that it matches.
I don't really care because at this point, I feel like these things are just used as plot tools to move the story forward, and that's pretty much it.
They're not really moving the story forward. It just gives it a little boost.
Mm.
But what is it really changing? Like, what would be different if you didn't find a single one yet?
She wouldn't have her, yeah, like you said, her boosts, her buffs.
I mean, she's still be getting perks that don't really factor into anything.
Nope.
I did not pay that much attention on the story. That's why I said
So
I
after that part, because again, me too, like nothing really, all these huge things happen, and then it kind of like dwindles down. So we get to the part in which Steel Hooves, again, someone that probably wouldn't know much about Watcher, but does know enough to the point where he starts talking about Watcher. He mentions, just like Homage, right? Because Homage was talking about it earlier about like, oh yeah, good ponies are few and far in between, and you know this and that. They're
You're missing so much. What are you talking about, Steel? He's not back yet.
no, no, no. This is again. I'm moving forward.
What
Just
about this? The energy weapon she gets, and the stars.
okay, then talk about that.
I forgot. Okay, I'm gonna have to read.
Oh lordy, lordy. She gets
You
the
don't remember
energy
either.
weapon. She gets the energy weapon, even though she has like a weird hybrid one, the zebra
But
rifle.
this one's a unique weapon, though. I don't think it even gets a name.
Yeah, it's just a zebra rifle.
No, I'm talking about the weapon, the energy weapon she gets from Llama. I don't think it gets a name. You know, it's absolutely a unique weapon.
Hmm.
It's like the strongest energy weapon. It can just melt anything, apparently.
It's like a plasma gun.
Yeah. Imagine using plasma.
Well, I guess. I mean, that's the equivalent. You know, and it's interesting too because going back to the Pinky statue, right? Homage implies that it buffs other ponies too. Like it's not just little Pip feeling it. It's her too. She said like she uses it every once in a while, and it's like she feels like a certain energy to it. So that was an interesting thing if we go back real quick. Um, but yeah, it made her feel all happy and joyous and this and that. She gets the weapon like you said, you know. And I find it also a little bit funny that she puts the Pinkie Pie statue next to the Mentals. Um,
What Mentos? You dumped them all.
she had a box of them still in her saddlebag, or at least a
How
box
much
of
let
it. At least a
Let her keep that? What a shitty man.
yeah,
Okay, that makes it even worse. But all right.
yeah, because she only
Why wouldn't
has
you put it next to the Twilight one? Come on.
yeah, because she puts the Pinkie Pie and the Twilight statue together, and then she even says in while she's like having an inner dialogue, she's like, "Now they can be together again. It was silly, but it felt just right." So it's kind of sad, but you know, it is what it
Oh,
is.
I read Project Horizon. I know what's in them, and she's more right than she knows.
Hmm. So, um, she's like just saying talking about it and this and that. She gives her energy pistol and like a yeah, she mentions it. There's no name for it. It's just a weapon that the Pegasi use. So we're getting a little implication of the Pegasi, you know. Finally we're talking about them after so many chapters. Um Joke Blue was just talking about like the the weapon uh the weapon that it's very strong. It's used to get it's again used for war. It's not really like a defense or whatever like a common pony would have. And then from there, like you said before, talking about space, stars, and this and that. I kind of like where this is going. Um, and I hope again, hindsight being hindsight 2020, but if they would have kept going this route of making Celestia and Luna, you know, larger than they actually are in the sense of like the overall like time and space type of stuff, it would have been very interesting because they talk about how Luna has this like strength and you know even some type of like horror behind her, you know, and like she can, you know, her armor and this and that is like from the moon and this and so it just kind of like little implications and all that.
Want
Uh,
a cigarette?
so yeah, all that happens and the zebras again homage talking about the zebras mentions them saying like they thought that the princesses came from like outside their world, you know, they
Right, that's the part that's super important.
yeah, so
This will matter. This will be like the most important piece of lore we've gotten so far.
yeah, this is weird. The zebras see them as like eldritch horrors rather than goddesses that the ponies see them as. So again, if you were listening to this part and you want to use something from the original story, take this and run. This is the implication, again, what I said earlier, that Celestia and Luna are not what they say they are is horrifying because
I don't know about the zebras being right, but I do see why the zebras would think that. I wouldn't make it that they were right.
okay, the fact that in the show Nightmare Moon consumed Luna because they're not the same. Like Nightmare Moon is a dark entity that consumed Luna, took over her body. That is interesting to me. Even within the show, I wish they would have done something more to that. You know, and we can talk about the show real quick. There was supposed to be an entire section about them that they came from a different part of Equestria or not even Equestria entirely. They don't even know where they're from. There was supposed to be the diary of the sisters. They're gonna go like about that lore, but nope, we're gonna talk about the student six instead, which it was like, oh my god. And there was other things that were going to be talked about as well, but we don't know because that's just forever lost to time. I know there's like leaked scripts and this and that, but again, going back to what I was saying, it would be
Never forget that Tara Strong wanted an episode about Twilight Sparkle being knocked up. That's all I add to that discussion.
oh no.
And this is
Oh.
not a meme, it's real. You can find the leaked season 9 planning.
Ah, jeez.
Wonder why they shot that idea down.
Yeah, I wonder why. So that happens. And going back to the thing, if they were to see them as demons, right? As devils or whatever, it also adds that layer of perspective, right? Again, this is for those that want to write stuff. It adds that perspective shot because, of course,
I
you
mean,
what?
imagine you know ponies, right? Your zebras. Ponies are like weird foreign things to you, and that you see that most of them are like the same size. There are only like three types, and you just see these giant ones that have like all the types combined, and they're way bigger, and they can move the sun and the moon. I'd be pretty fucking terrified of them too.
Yeah, which kind of like asks the question of like why would they want to go to war with these eldritch horrors? Maybe there was a lot more to the story besides eventually will we find out what the first shots were and what started this whole entire conflict. But
And the reason is very dumb.
it is very dumb, but again, if you're putting yourself in the perspective of the zebras, like maybe there was a lot more to fight for than what we're also being led on to think, right? Because I mean, it's up in the air here, but if there was these like demon things that were trying to control everything, I mean, yeah, there's this natural fear, but then there's also like, okay, there's nothing left to lose, so let me just go out all in against these things, and hopefully I get my freedom at the end of it. So yeah, there's that.
All right, well, deep lore aside, we can actually get to the funny parts.
Sure. I mean, the last thing I want to mention, of course, is just if we're gonna talk about it, I want those to understand how important this is. Um, this goes right here, right? And I quote. So they're talking about, space and time and, all this magical stuff and this and that. Let's see. So I recalled the story of the man on the moon, the real version, not that stallion on the moon nonsense. The stars will aid in her escape. In particular, they tell of the four malevolent stars with hearts of cruelty and chaos which yearn to taste our pain and destruction wrought by our own hoofs, with grimace homage added. If there's any truth to the zebra mythology, I guess we've given them quite the banquet. Four stars helping destroy Equestria. Now, why did that sound familiar? Amit shrugged off the eerie atmosphere that had settled in the room by her tale. Anyways, like I said, foolish. Joke Blue was probably right. Some Pegasi experimented that, blew up in their faces. So, yeah, just, some heavy mythology, and we're just gonna like go over it. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, you talk about the
Yeah,
the the black opal and all that, and
actually, there's something else for us, but homage just casually drops like the most important what we've gotten so far and just moves right on. Classic.
classic Fallout Equestria.
Okay, so we go into a memory orb. I think
hmm
homage is I don't know where she would have got it from. I forgot, but they she goes into the body of Spike T Dragon,
hmm
Mister the Dragon, and he's with all the main six, except for Rainbow. But this is the most main six we've seen in one room, like ever so far. And Applejack brings up a secret project we already worked on. I sure can't wait to read about that in like 20 chapters. And that's all we get. We get a little tease because we got to tease 50 things in one chapter.
hmm
But then they're fighting a little bit because Larry is trying to make an armor, but she said that's not. She's not trying to rip off the Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Steel Rangers armor.
Yeah, Soul Rangers.
But and Applejack gets pissed. Like, what's the point then? If it's a weaker armor, why would we need it? So true. Hold on, edit it out.
Okay. It was more for an alternative for the Pegasi rather than the power armor that the Earth ponies use. And we went
Yeah,
into a bit of a tangent on a previous episode. I don't recall which one, but we said like there should be different weapons for the different pony species, and I think there also should be different armors. You know, heavier armor for Earth ponies because they naturally have the strength for it. Maybe it could be assisted by servos or some type of power. Um,
I still think the idea for robotic arms on the sides are fucking stupid, but yeah, go on.
yeah, sure. Of course, for the Pegasi, something more sleek that'll allow them to fly, offers them, protection in areas that are, crucial and critical, but, enough for them to be moving and this and that. So, of course, it'd be like type of light armor. And then finally, for the unicorns, I think something in the middle, just really good for a little bit of everything, but not too heavy where they're encumbrant, and then not too light where it's like they're like, exposed and stuff like that. Because, of course, they have their magic, so they could probably give themselves like buffs and stuff like that. But just an idea. But that being said, yeah, we see that
We go,
scene.
yeah, we go see the armor and Rainbow Dash is in it. I think
Hmm.
that's the first time Rainbow Dash is shown. Oh no, she was in the one party scene.
Yeah.
But Fluttershy freaks the fuck out. Classic.
Hmm.
And the armor is very weird. I don't know if you want to bother describing it.
They describe it like a bug, basically, which is kind of funny because Huh. That's how the Enclave armor was described for Fallout 2. I believe some of the designers were saying that they wanted to have a very clear difference of them between them and like the Brotherhood of Steel. So they try to make them a little bit more. They try to like dehumanize them. So they made them look like bugs. So that's why the eyes look like that certain way. The back plate and chest plate are a bit larger, kind of resembling like a beetle. Um, and yeah, it's just overall it's heavier, it's stronger. Uh, at least the
Well,
Enclave
considering,
armor.
I guess, the Enclave, I guess that was an intentional reference.
Yeah, that's the intentional like reference about it. And I think it was also like a psychological tool for the Pegasi because they wanted to look, more frightening to the zebras and also the other enemies that Equestria has now been stacking up. Because not just zebras anymore, and we'll talk about that later when it gets brought up, but there's a lot more individuals that are involved in the conflict by this point. Um, but that's pretty much it. I mean, he talks about it. Oh,
Pretty
wow.
boring memory.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, Pip finally meets up with the rest of her party.
yup.
It's
And
been a while. At least it's less Velvet, but Steel Hooves is like, oh, you're gonna go see Watcher, and she's like,
mm-hmm.
how do you know? And he's like, oh, I've been alive a long time. It's kind of hard to not run into him if you've been around the wasteland that long. Good reason. Actually makes sense. You'd love to see it.
Yep.
But then Pip wants to know what the fuck Watcher's whole deal is, and Steel said, oh, he tries to make groups of friends to work together, and they usually end up dead.
Yeah.
So that makes her a more sus of Watcher because he
Yeah.
doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And we want to have to wait that long for that reveal, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because the implication is he knows of him, yet he doesn't ever speak against Watcher. Never even brought him up to Little Pip. And of course, that just adds a layer of mystery as well as concern for Little Pip. You know, Watcher's been around for quite a long time as well, and obviously, like leading ponies to their demise. A lot of them go missing. A lot of them just straight up, die. So just not good. Not good at all.
Oh boy, yeah. So then she goes to meet Watcher, and he's like, oh, hey, she's like, hey, I got the thing for you, and he's like, all right, just put it in the Sprite god, and then she's like, no, I'm not doing it unless I can give it to you in person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the chapter's incorrect in anime account, by the way.
Yep.
But somehow he agrees to this. I don't know how. Like she convinces him in like 2 sentences to fucking put his life in jeopardy. But all right, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives her the location, and it's in Manhattan. So oh boy, can't wait to see Manhattan because we can't have original cities. We gotta just rip once in the show.
Yeah, we got to keep going to like previous locations, and they agree to it. And what happens is that from there, they see the phoenix and they finally get a pet as well, and they call her Pyrolite.
That doesn't happen yet.
Yeah, just right after that part.
Yeah, but first off, they finally fix up the Sky Bandit
Oh
so it
well,
can fly.
sure,
I mean, it's kind of important. They're kind of going to have it for like the rest of the story, but
true. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
but yeah, then just add I guess that Phoenix got tamed off screen, but whatever. Sure, I don't really care. The Phoenix will like never matter.
We did a
So
little
I
bit
will.
of we did a little bit of off-screen mining. You have like 50 diamonds.
That's a classic reference. But anyway,
Yeah, so that happens, and the memories keep getting brought up, and Steel Hooves doesn't seem to like it because there's a part where he finally notices that Velvet Remedy is just constantly and constantly going into that memory where Fluttershy is giving that speech, and little Pip, it's kind of funny how she sees it as like that's her addiction, and it's funny how she's all talking smack about little Pip and the things that she's going through, yet she's also kind of doing the same thing with that orb. It's basically like media that she's losing herself in, and Steel Hoops is like,
losing yourself in a piece of media that could never happen to me.
yeah, little. I mean, even Steel Hoops is just like, he's like, she's disappeared into that memory twice in the last 16 hours. It's like her own addiction. And he just goes on and says, like, that's not a good memory. And then she, little Pip's like kind of confused and is like, well, what do you mean by that? And then and he's like, Fluttershy wasn't like the others. Rainbow Dash wanted to win the war. Applejack just wanted to protect other ponies, especially after Big Macintosh got murked. Twilight Sparkle wanted to please the princesses, especially Celestia. Steel Hooves in tone, but Fluttershy just wanted the war to end. That memory is the moment she put her whole ministry to the purpose of finding a way to end the conflict, and she did. So there's a
Yeah, and
there's
she also says that she made a weapon and gave it to both sides.
yeah.
Oh boy, I can't wait for the rant I get to make about that when it's Mood Swing.
Yeah. It's just really interesting because the way a lot of people often view nuclear weapons is that two people are playing chess, but if one person decides to nuke the other person, they just throw the chessboard off the table. No one really wins, but both people lose. So I don't know where Fluttershy's thought process was, but again, as you said before, clear character assassination. So uh even little Pip is seeing that Velma Remedy is trying to like become Fluttershy, sweet, shy, yet can have a poison tongue. Um, and like you said, yeah, Steel Hooves answers dreadfully. So, after they talked about that, little Pip's like, well, wait, I said slowly. You said no one? His odd word choice reminded me of my first conversation with Watcher. Steel Hooves answers dreadfully. Perhaps the only thing more insane than believing such a weapon would bring peace is creating such a weapon and then giving it to both sides. Steel Hooves turned to Steel Hooves turned to me behind his helmet visor. That memory, that is the beginning of the end of the world. Ultimately, Fluttershy killed us all.
Ah, what a fucking bitch.
Yeah, so that happens.
And Little Pip barely has any reaction. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
yeah. There's like no reaction. It just goes off to them in the sky wagon. Um, Pyrolite is like doing her little thing. Uh, again, you know, um, the stars get mentioned briefly, so obviously they're still important. Yet it just dropped again. It says a moment later, the sky vanity burst up through the cloud curtain, and the night sky expanded infinitely around us with evil stars. A beautiful full moon hung in the sky behind the mountain peak, silhouetting it like a vertical rip in the universe. So that's interesting. I like that visual. And from there they finally settle down, and yep, according to the Pip Buck, they found a dragon cave. So Power Remedy's like, of course, not knowing what's going on as per usual. She's like, "Oh man, we're gonna get eaten." And then Steel Hooves, was helping Calamity out, and everybody was like, "Oh no, this is that." And then Little Pip it's hilarious how she has these moments that she's like, "Wait, how does my Pip Buck know this? Like this dragon cave is like 200 years old. Like how would it know?" And everyone's kind of like going back and forth, and then out of nowhere, while this is going on, little little Pip and everybody just kind of like freak out because they see Spike come out of the cave, and we'll end.
That's where it ends. Hood
Yup,
classic.
we'll end it right here, and I quote: "Hello, little Pip. I'm Spike, the dragon," in a voice that was neither as terrifying nor booming as I had expected. "And don't worry, I'm not going to eat you." So, footnote: level up, new perk, Pathfinder. Travel time to remote locations in the Equestrian Wasteland is reduced by 25%. The drain on the Sky Bandit's spark batteries is likewise reduced. Quest perk added. Pony Sorta. You are experienced in the art of giving and receiving physical pleasure. So this is the part you were talking about for chapter 20.5. I guess they did kind of put them to in the fanfiction area.
Yeah, but she was gonna get a plus 10 damage raise. What is this shit?
I
Fake
know,
point.
right? And it says you are more likely to have sexual encounters with specific characters. Okay. Author's note it says right there, a mare worth fighting for by Pace. This story, at your discretion, may be treated as canon or non-canon to Fallout Equestria in a matter akin to a deleted scene from a movie warning sex and mature themes. So,
So what
yeah,
do you think? We never gave me an answer. Is 20.5 canon? Come on, bud. It's all on you. The
I
leader.
I think it is based off of that. It is sorry,
Just
pardon.
so we can shit on Abid more easily.
Yeah, I think
Because
it
she has like the
is.
worst shit so far in that chapter.
Yeah, I think it is canon because she mentions all that stuff, and yeah, I would see it as canon because some stuff wouldn't make sense in the rest of the chapter if that didn't happen. So yeah, it's canon. Overall, I am gonna give this chapter, mixing it with chapter, 20.5. So I'm gonna average the scores out. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give
Damn,
it a
but I'm gonna give
6.
it. I'm giving it a 5 mid.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing really happens until like the middle.
I only like it because of the implications of the stuff that could have happened. So they had tools, but they didn't take advantage of it. So, what's your final thoughts on it? Anatomy? What is it? Tell me.
I would give the anime account. It's only one that was when she said in person to watch her.
Okay.
And the footnote, but I mean, that's implied.
Yeah.
Because remember, there's one in every chapter.
True. So nothing besides the star part that never gets mentioned again. That's the only thing that.
I think it does, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the most important pieces of lore. But
Mm,
I know it matters in Project Horizons for like 5 chapters, and then never gets brought up again for like 40. Damn.
mm, okay.
Oh man, them stars are gonna get blackjack right in the ass.
Jeez. Well, anything else you want to say, or we're gonna wrap it up?
I hate homage. Even when Velvet's not in the story, really, there's another shitty character who plays her. Classic.
Yeah, I kind of felt, in all honesty, I kind of felt a little bit of Velvet Remedy through Homage. Those two characters take advantage of Little Pip physically and emotionally, and I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Yeah, hits too close to home. So yeah,
I, for one, wish Amir would take advantage of me physically.
yeah. It's just a bit of a harder subject for me, I guess. It's just I just don't like it how they lead her on. I feel like both the characters lead her on. Like the only two characters so far that are still with her that haven't let her on so far is Steel Hooves and Calamity. You know,
At least
Watcher,
she got Sexo from one of them.
yeah. Well, again, I'm just saying overall because like it seemed like everyone always had a motive for trying to help Little Pip, whether it was Watcher sending her to the Ponyville library where it almost got her murked and her story would have just ended right then and there, like Steel Hooves would have said. Like there's been other ponies that have tried to help and do this and they're just gone, which goes back to my crackpot theory about earlier about Monterey Jack. Maybe he was one of those ponies and he was just so jaded from his own adventures. And again, this is all implications, just a crackpot theory, that he has this weird, twisted like outlook on honesty because of that. So again, it's just an implication. That's just my headcanon that maybe he
You're
just
coping for Monterey Jack being a shitty written character. Stop it.
and again, that's just my
Just
crap.
accept that he's a shit character and move on.
But yeah, um
Because I'm still not clear on what his motives exactly were for killing himself.
yeah, and we're probably not gonna know because he doesn't really get brought up. I think he gets brought up maybe once or twice, and that's it. But again, knowing what we know now about Watcher doing this for God knows how long, I wouldn't be surprised that some of the other characters that
Can we just call Watcher Spike from now on?
yeah. So
Look at our
Spike,
iconic name.
yeah. So Spike, we're gonna call him Spike from now on. So Spike has sent so many to their doom. It could be possible that some of the characters that Little Pip has encountered, you know, were screwed over by him. And there's a reason why they're like that. And I think that would have been more interesting if we had encountered, let's say, a previous protagonist turned to antagonist. I think it would have been more interesting in the writing. So there you go, another tool for your toolbox if you wish to write your own story. You know, always very interesting to have that perspective of a past hero turn evil because of, you know, they found out the truth or something, so they got jaded. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a bit of a heavier chapter, I would say, in terms of themes. Not just the straight up like sexo parts, but the implications are there too. So it's pretty messed up. But that's all I got.
I can't wait to get to talk about why Spike did all that. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, we're gonna take a little bit of a hiatus, but I mean by then we'll probably be already another recording or two. But just in case that there isn't, because you know life is life, I hope you enjoy the other videos that go up on the channel. This isn't just a Fallout Equestria reviews channel. There's other things going on.
It would be if I had my way.
But yeah, I hope you enjoy everything else, and I want to thank you all for still sticking with us. I'm still surprised that there's still quite a few of you guys watching these reviews. Shout out to Wubway. You're always there, always giving us comments. We love to see it. In the next video, we're going to be sure to give you the time of day to go through your comment as well as a story that you also have written. So that's going to be fun to go through. Maybe a bit of a bonus episode there. Other than that, any closing remarks after go? I think I asked this already like twice, but this is for real.
Mares.
Mares. Thank you all. You have a good night. We'll see you soon.